name is Ryan Fox and thank you for visiting my channel. The purpose of my channel is going to be mostly cooking with a sprinkling of fitness, but we'll see what else I come up with along the way. Today I'm going to be making a beef, shrimp, and broccoli stir fry for you guys, and I hope that you walk away with the know-how and the confidence to make delicious, crispy, perfect stir fries. So let's get started. Okay, so to get started, I'm going to go over the ingredients for the marinade that actually doubles as the sauce for the entire stir fry. We have here vegetable oil, fish sauce, sesame oil, rice wine vinegar, low sodium soy sauce, sea salt, onion powder, black pepper, a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, a 1/3 cup of water. I'm going to use about 1 inch to 2 inches of fresh ginger, and 4 to 5 cloves of fresh garlic. Okay, let's move straight into our marinade, starting with about 1/3 cup of low sodium soy sauce. If you're using regular sodium soy sauce, then you don't need to add any salt, but because I want my flavor to be decent, I'm adding about 1 teaspoon of sea salt. Up next is the rice wine vinegar. I'd say use about 2 tablespoons of this. While this adds acidity to the marinade, it also assists in tenderizing the beef or whatever type of meat you decide to use. Fresh black ground pepper. You can use your discretion here. Onion powder, can't really go wrong, but I'd say that's about 1 teaspoon. I use about 2 tablespoons of the sesame oil. This adds a nice nuttiness to the flavor profile, and this is a flavor that you typically taste in Asian food, so hopefully you can find it and use it. The fish sauce, I use about 1 teaspoon of this. This is pretty strong, so you want to make sure you're careful when putting that in there. You don't want that to overpower the flavor of your dish. I used about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 2 tablespoons of water, and 1/3 cup of brown sugar. Just breaking that down a little bit. Straight into my ginger and some garlic. I think I'll add just a little bit more garlic. And then I'm going to go ahead and give this a little stir and do the same thing to my shrimp. Moving straight into our vegetables, we've got largely diced white onion, fresh corn kernels, broccolini, jalapenos, and carrot. I wanted to take some time to show you guys how to julienne this carrot. The first thing you want to do is slice it on a very deep diagonal and create coins or medallions or discs. The goal of julienne is to basically turn any vegetable into matchstick-like slices. In this case, doing so with the carrot will allow it to cook quickly in our stir fry, and it also offers a nicer presentation when you're done. So about 1 more slice. And then you want to stack the carrots, about 5 or 6, or as much as your knife can handle. You want to be sure to use a sharp knife to do this, and then slice it lengthways to create those matchstick-like slices. Now once you start slipping, you may want to slice these one by one rather than stacking it, or just make a shorter stack. Do the same thing to the remaining slices. And that's pretty much it. Okay, here's a closer look at those matchsticks. I hope that you guys try the technique at home. Let me know how it works out for you. I put both the shrimp and the beef in the refrigerator, and then I move on to steaming and blanching my broccolini, which basically means I just cook it for about 3 minutes and then give it a rinse with ice water and leave it on the side. My pan is now dry and at a medium heat. I'm adding some oil to the pan, making sure it's evenly coated, and getting started with my onions. Moving forward, I'll be cooking everything in batches, and this allows me to control the cooking time for all of my ingredients. Once the onions are a little bit translucent and receive a good amount of caramelization, I'm going to remove them from the pan and repeat this process for the rest of my ingredients. With the corn, you want to keep an eye on it because the kernels will pop up if it gets too hot. You just want to leave this on long enough to get some char marks and then remove it from the pan and keep going. In between batches, you may need to add more oil to the pan. You don't want your items to burn, you want them to fry. I don't know if you guys can hear me screaming, but I just burnt my finger. Be careful, don't be like me. This pan is super hot. Okay, the carrots only need to cook for about 60 seconds. Once you get them kind of even in the pan, you can remove them in about a minute. Okay, now it's time to get into our protein. I'm going to start with the shrimp, just because the beef is a little bit more saucy. Now, as I lay these shrimp out, I'm being careful as to shake off as much of the ginger and garlic from the marinade as possible. I don't want that in my pan at this time because it's probably going to burn. Try not to throw away the marinade juices from the shrimp and the beef. Set those aside until you're done cooking everything because we're going to use that to make our sauce. I'm going to allow the shrimp to cook about halfway through on one side before I flip them, and then do the same thing on the other side. Try your best not to overcook the shrimp at this time because we will return these to the heat and there's nothing worse than tough shrimp. Okay, the shrimp look about done, just underdone. So I'm going to remove these from the pan now and remove any residue from the pan and then let the pan get hot again so that I can get started with the beef. Now that the pan is hot and I've added a little more oil again, I'm going to start putting my beef in. The goal at this time is to cook these till they're about medium well, and also to remember to reserve the marinade juices for later. Okay, the beef is about medium well now. It looks just the way I like it. I kind of poke it a little bit to make sure it's cooked the way I like it. And then I'm going to remove this from the heat and get started with our sauce. So I'm adding the marinade juices from the shrimp and the beef that we saved to the pan. You don't want your pan to be too hot because this can burn with the brown sugar in there. Making sure I get all the extra ginger and garlic from the shrimp. In order to prevent this from burning, you want to keep it moving. So keep stirring it. What we're looking for is for this liquid to reduce significantly and for that brown sugar to caramelize so that our sauce becomes sticky and that it will stick to our meat and vegetables when we return them to the pan. You want your bubbles to be consistent throughout the sauce and for the sauce to have thickened to a point where it almost looks like it's caramel. Okay, our sauce is looking really good now. So we can get started with adding our vegetables back to the pan and getting them coated. We've got our onions and our carrots back in the pan. Gonna throw in our broccolini. Now, as a mental note, the goal at this point is to just get everything pretty much coated with the sauce and reheated. So if you're like me and you prefer a spicy stir fry, you want to wait until the end, which is like right about now, to add anything like red pepper flakes or jalapenos. Simply because if you add spicy ingredients to a smoking hot pan and you inhale that smoke, you will choke. This has happened to me a number of times and I finally learned my lesson. So please, please, please wait until the end to add your spicy ingredients. Okay, coming in now with my jalapenos. I think I need to salvage a few of these for my garnish later. Let me just pluck a few of those back out. Give this one last mix and then we will be ready to plate. This is looking really good. Nothing is overcooked. It doesn't look soupy. There's just enough gravy at the bottom of the pan. Alrighty, let's get ready to plate. Okay, so I've cupped some jasmine rice onto the center of my plate. And I'm gonna take up a decent sized portion and making sure that I get a little bit of everything. Getting some shrimp on there, some beef, some broccoli. You kind of want to nest it directly on top of the rice and around the rice. Don't forget to get some gravy. Put that on the rice especially. A little bit more shrimp. And some more corn and onions. Okay, I think it's time to garnish. Alrighty, for our garnish, I'm going in with some green onion that I've sliced on a diagonal. Don't ask me why, it just looks nicer that way. Up next is some julienne ginger, just in case you missed it. A nice punch of flavor, and some of those salvaged jalapeno slices. So just as a note as it relates to the spiciness of the jalapenos, if you don't like very spicy food, then you want to remove the seeds from this or not use them at all. I'm going in with some black sesame seeds to finish off my garnish, and I think that's it. Okay guys, here are some pictures of the finished product. Look at us. It looks good. I'm ready to taste this. Alrighty, the finished product is ready, and we have our taste tester here, my husband Justin.
Hey guys.
Are you excited? I'm kind of
so excited. I'm starving.
Here you go.
Alright. Just gonna take a little bit of this rice, onions.
Get some beef on there.
Some meat.
Get some shrimp.
I think I'm gonna take a plate. It's so good.
Yeah.
And the beef is so tender.
A whole jalapeno.
Spice up my life.
Alrighty. Okay, good. The verdict is, it's worth a try.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome. Okay guys, that's it. The finished product is done. Justin tasted it. The verdict is that it was delicious. I'm really happy he liked it. I hope that you guys tried at home. And if you do, please tag me at Ryan L. Fox on Instagram, or leave a comment down below. Always refer back to the recipe here on YouTube, and I'll have all the details listed down below. So, I'll see you guys next time. Enjoy!